are we just all prepared to have a little bit of fun today? Because that's what I need right now. I am neck deep in starting line edits, and I quite frankly just need something fun to do, okay? I'm going to be giving you guys my ultimate guide, my ultimate book boyfriend guide, I should say. So how I organize this, I split these up into different categories because there are different categories of book boyfriends that I have, and it just makes it easier to organize. I also like making lists, so it just works, okay? And within all of this, I'm not really gonna be giving synopses of all of these books, okay? This is not like an actual rec video. This is just me giving you my ultimate guide. Like if I were to have to make a presentation on all of my favorite fictional men, this is basically that. Well, it's basically a presentation night, okay, except this is just a YouTube video for you guys. Everyone's guide is gonna look different, so feel free to put who your own book boyfriends are in the comments. So I mocked these up in Canva as well, cute little graphics to go one by one. So let me quick run down the categories that we'll be going over. They're all slightly unhinged, but I don't know what you expected from me. So we have age is just a number, which, as you can infer, they're all gonna be, you know, a little older. Sad little tortured boy. I love sad little tortured boys, okay? That is like one of my favorite types of fictional men, is when they are so down bad, they hate themselves, and then they like take it out on other people, and they just really are like down bad. And then by the end of the book, they end up like coming out of it, they end up loving themselves, whatever. But I love that sad, tortured, brooding man so much. So we got sad little tortured boy. Next up, red is my favorite color. Self-explanatory, okay? That's gonna be a fun one. That's gonna be a fun category. This one might be the most unhinged one that I have. A night with him could cure my mental illness. Yeah. The internet is forever, and yet we're still rolling with it. Then I have yes, I do the cooking, yes, I do the cleaning. That is my billionaire category. That is for all of the men that I am no housewife, but for them, I 1000% am a housewife. I am a trad wife right then and there. Mob wife aesthetic. You know how that was like going around? I think you know where we're going with that category. All my Mafia men. Wag status, okay, make me a wag, one of these men. And last but not least, I have my honorable mentions of men who don't really fit in any of those categories, but I could not do a guide without featuring them in there. So that is my list here, and we're just gonna go through and just have fun. It's just supposed to be a fun video today, quite frankly. Like I said, I need it, so just stick with me, okay? Okay, so I don't think these are like in actual order of what I just read them off as, but I'm going in order that I have them in Canva because that's easier. So first up, red is my favorite color is the first category, and are we not surprised? Damon Torrance from Kill Switch by Penelope Douglas is our first man on here. Okay, listen, is he horrible in the first two books? Yes. But that's why he fits in the red is my favorite color category, because he is full of red flags, and quite frankly, he would rip me apart. Like, I would not be able, I am very good at being able to like take some roasting, okay? I have an older brother. I'm good at that. I'm good at dishing it back out. However, this man would actually just rip me to shreds and make me cry, and I would stand by it with a smile on my face while that happens. He's obviously the first one that we got up in here. Now, next up, we got Killian Carson from God of Malice. So this man is an actual true psychopath, which terrifying, but also reading his internal monologue is so fascinating. Like hearing how he processes the people around him, how he like catalogs their emotions, their motives, whatever, and how that shapes his motives because he doesn't really have the emotions to go off of. And once again, he's obsessed with her but hates everyone else. And not even just like he hates everyone else, it's like he has a complete, because he's a psychopath, he has a complete disregard for everyone else except for her, which like, oh my God, I'm so obsessed with that. Also, the beginning of this book bothers some people. I know it, you know, that's fine if it bothered you. I loved it. So anyways, he's got to be on here. And he is like a walking, talking red flag. Honestly, probably, I forget who is, we'll scroll and see who else is on here. Honestly, he might be the biggest red flag that I have on here. Oh, next up we got Konstantin Kurnikova, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't think that I would not have him on here. And honestly, I didn't really know what like category he was going to end up on, because he is a little bit of a floater, and he honestly almost made it into the age is just a number. But then I realized he's 32. That is only 5 years older than me. Like, that is not that much older. Doesn't really belong in there, but he is a red flag. Let's be quite real. Him having a girlfriend the entire time that he's with Rhea. Listen, cheating in real life, obviously, we don't condone a lot of things in real life that we read in books, but I love the messiness and the angst that his cheating brought to this entire series. So quite frankly, and he was cheating for true love and for true soulmates. So honestly, I'll defend him. And of course, Kova had to be in the red flag category. Next up, you knew he was coming. Zayd Meadows from Haunting Adeline. Listen, this man is so unhinged. When he cut off a man's hand for touching Addie with her permission, like she brought this man over to taunt him and then delivered this man's hands to, was it in her mailbox or on her doorstep? Listen, Zayd. Oh, and then Hunting Adeline Zayd. Dear God, the train scene. Oh my God, I love him so much. He's a red flag, no doubt, but I love him. Next up, we have Draco from Secrets and Masks. So yes, Draco Malfoy from the Harry Potter universe, but granted, I'm not talking about Draco in like the regular books. I've never read those. I never will. I'm not talking about Draco in the movies even, because honestly, very like, in my opinion, I expected more from him as someone who hadn't read the books and like saw the movies late in life, whatever, after I'd kind of heard all the Draco Malfoy buzz. But Draco and Hermione fan fictions, specifically in Secrets and Masks, and with his dragon, oh my God, I'm so down bad for him in this. This like was my personality for an entire month last year when I read it, and honestly, it could still pop up. I still need to learn how to bind fan fiction just so that way I can have a physical copy of this, because I love this book. And oh, talk about like touch her and I'll kill you. Like, oh my God, I love him so much. And last but certainly not least in this red is my favorite color category, we gotta have Arrow from That Sick Love by Jesse Hall. So we do have another stalker on the list. He's a little bit more in your face, but listen, the way that he like paints his face too to be like a skull, that's hot. Oh my God, I should have had a masked man category. Another time. Already exposing myself a lot with these. So anyways, Arrow, I love him. I love how he challenges Briony and truly is like, I'm not going to coddle you. Like, I'm not like, yes, obviously these bad things are happening. I'm trying to get you out of this cult in a way, but also like, I'm not going to coddle you. You are a strong person and you need to learn how to like stand up for yourself and do things for yourself and on your own. And I'm going to stand by you. I love him. Like, yes, he's a red flag. He does some really crazy things, but he's also like, he's rooting her on. Okay, that is that category. Now we are to sad little tortured boy. Okay, we got my brooding men up here, which like, oh, I just will forever have a soft spot for. And first up in this category is going to be Lauren Hale from Addicted to You, the Addicted to You series by Krista and Becca Ritchie. Oh, I think back of just like Lily and Lo together as a whole, like their journey, I feel like is not the most popular out of the books. Like granted, still Rose and Connor are my favorite couple, so like Lily and Lo are not, but however, Lo's character growth from book 1 to book 5 to when you see him, and now like then I've read the Leica series, so seeing him as a parent, like I just love and respect, like he feels like a real person at this point because I've read him in so many books. And I just love the way that he loves Lily and that he fights for her, he fights himself for her, and how much he hates himself at times. That's what I do love, characters that like hate themselves. I know that that's like kind of a weird thing to say, but there's just something that like resonates with me when a character like so deeply does not like themselves and like can't understand them why anyone else would care about them, and that's kind of Lo, and seeing him struggle with his alcoholism and then overcoming it. I just love everything about Lo. Next up, we got a rock star, Phoenix from The Words by Ashley Jade. So 1, I love a rock star, and 2, I love a tortured rock star. And this one, oh my God. Okay, so he is really, really down bad, obviously. For the majority of this book, he's an asshole. He's so mean to Lennon at some points, but still I'm like, oh, you still just do it for me, because once again, he just hates himself and he can't find his way out of his downward spiral. And like, he doesn't really want to find a way out of it either. And like, just seeing someone like at that low of low, but then seeing them fight their way back. That's basically this entire category, so I'll keep it moving. Next up, oh, we got Kai from Hideaway. Listen, he is my favorite Devil's Night. Honestly, but I did do 3 read and Damon might. I don't know. I really, really love Kai. Hideaway is my favorite book in the Devil's Night series, and I think more specifically, like, Kai and Hideaway, yes, is, like, sad and tortured, but I'd say almost more so in book 1, you see him really struggling and trying to, like, adjust to real life again and kind of, like, what his past actions have, like, his life didn't turn out like how he thought it was going to, obviously, and then now seeing him try to like reconcile that and struggle with feeling like he disappointed his parents, and just seeing him kind of get that back, and even then seeing him through Banks's POV. Like, I think about in the one scene when she's like, he tries to be hard and cruel and mean, and that's just like not who he is. Like, he is just a good person. He just like hates himself. He tries to project an image that he's just not. I love him. I love him. I'm obsessed with him forever and always will be. Next up, we got Dorian Havillard from the Throne of Glass series. So I put Empire of Storms up here. He's in the books, like, starting at Throne of Glass book 1. But I feel like Empire of Storms is the book where we kind of like get more of him being like really sad, tortured boy, you know? I mean, he's obviously sad, tortured boy in the other ones as well. But this one specifically, if you know, you know. I love Dorian so much. I love his character so much that I literally named my cat after him. Like, I'm honestly surprised that me saying his name enough hasn't like roused him from the couch to come in here and see what I'm doing in here. I love his character. I would literally pay Sarah J. Maas any amount of money to get a Dorian and someone's book. I guess I won't say because I don't like spoil it, but I would love a Dorian book. Oh, would I like eat that shit up. Next up, we got a recent one here. Creighton King from God of Pain. Listen, this man is so, I will argue he is the most underrated Legacy of Gods man. I am so obsessed with him. I am so down bad for him. And you know what? I'm not even going to spend a lot of time on him because I will say I am going to be doing an entire Legacy of Gods deep dive video. I'm currently organizing my notes for that because I want to be able to give full spoilers, like full thoughts on all these books, because I haven't been able to. They have been my obsession. If you watched any of my videos recently, you know that. So I want to be able to talk about him more in depth, but truly, once again, a guy who's just so tortured by his past and like clinging to that, even though he knows that he should let it go, but he just can't. Oh, I love him. I love him so much. Annika, you lucky woman, you. Next up, we got God of Fury, because then we got Bran. Oh my God. I love Bran so much. He is a character that, like, as a side character, he seemed like fine enough to me in the first 4 books. So the 5th book is his book. And as a side character, I was always like, he seems fine, you know, whatever. But he's kind of like the good guy, the one everyone can rely on, you know. That's not typically my speed. But then when we got to him and you see all of the layers that he hides, oh my God, I felt so connected to his character. I love him with my entire heart and soul. I would protect him with everything. Oh, I would like be joining Nico and Landon and doing like anything for him. He's so sad. Oh, I love it. I love it. And last but not least, I got BJ Valentine from Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. Once again, I mean, Magnolia and BJ together, like, one of my favorite toxic relationships. But I will say there's something about BJ, once again, just kind of like spiraling at times, and you just can see that like at his core he's a good person. He just doesn't always make the best decisions for himself and for other people. And I just always want for him to be doing better and to like do better for himself and then for Magnolia. But I love BJ Valentine. So yeah, this rounds out my sad little tortured boy category because I love my brooding men. What can I say? Next up, we got Age is Just a Number, because, you know, in my books, you can really get up there in age. And in real life, listen, under 50, I'm like joking. I'm like not joking, but I'm also like not joking. Anyways, Age is Just a Number. We gotta have Pike Lawson at number 1, okay? Were we not expecting that? Did you think that I wouldn't have him on this list? Excuse me? He is my original dad that I love, okay? Happy late Father's Day to you, Pike Lawson. Yeah, listen, this man's so hot. He can get it. And also, he's like a normal guy, you know? So a lot of these books, you know, they're like overly dramatized or whatever, because they're books, they're fiction, they're supposed to be fun and like heightened and whatever, and things like they don't like truly reflect reality. But listen, this man, he's just going about his life. He's got his construction business, he's got his home, he goes to the movies, like he does regular ass things, and he's so hot for it, okay? The blue-collared man of my dreams, quite frankly. And let's keep it rolling. We got Uncle Jake. Listen, Uncle Jake is so hot. I love all three of them in this book. One of my friends recently read this and I was like, Allie, you gotta let me know what you think about Uncle Jake. And she was like, why are you calling him Uncle Jake? And I was like, cause he's Uncle Jake. I don't like anything outdoorsy. I don't like bugs. I don't like hunting. I don't like any of that. I don't want anything to do with that. Keep it away from me. But listen, I would spend all my year round in Colorado with this man. Like, no doubt. No doubt. Next up, we have Dr. Lowe from The Doctor by Nikki Sloan. So once again, I think actually his name is Greg, but quite frankly, we're just going to call him Dr. Lowe because that's hotter to me. This man, once again, we got another ex's dad's romance with this one, similar with Birthday Girl. And listen, Dr. Lowe's just clearly the hotter choice. Okay, which actually, you know what, actually though, after I read The Good Girl, Preston would probably be my choice between the two, but honestly, if I could have both, I would. So many rent-free moments from him. Next up, I have the oldest man on this list. He's like 500 years old, and that is Rhysand from ACOTAR. I don't care if that like makes me a basic bitch for loving ACOTAR and for loving Rhys. Okay, listen, I've loved him for years. I'm always gonna love him. I don't care. I will never like be able to get on board with the slander of this man. I love him. I don't even have words. I love everything about him. And we can keep it rolling, quite frankly. Oh, then we got Theo from The Worst Kept Secret by QB Tyler. Listen, this man, it's not that I wasn't expecting to like love him, but James, which we'll get to him in a little bit, but James Calloway always was just kind of like sitting pretty as being my favorite QB hero, right? I've read every single book of hers, and he was just like, you know, I'm comfortable in my number one spot. And then I read this one, and Theo was like, you thought. He was so ridiculously hot to me. Like, I genuinely can't even pinpoint it. I loved this book too. I think I just loved the book as a whole. But this man just absolutely did it for me. And I just loved him. So he's got to go up there. And also another dad. Happy delayed Father's Day. Happy delayed Father's Day to actually all these. They're all dads. Wow. I'm ready to be a stepmom for them. Oh, this one's not a dad though. Rafe from Unfurl by Elodie Hart, which once again, actually, I don't think he's that much older than me, actually. I think, obviously, I put him in here, I think, because I was thinking in my head, like, oh, that's an age gap book. But, like, I think it's an age gap because Belle's, like, 22, and I think Rafe might be, like, 32. So, once again, I don't think Rafe is actually that much older than me, but I don't care. We're keeping him in here. I love him. Sir Alchemy, the things that you did with Belle, quite frankly, like your kind of like past that you were helping her unfurl. Oh my God, I love you for that. And yeah, you gotta belong in this list. So that is my age is just a number. We're moving on to the next one. To yes, I do the cooking, yes, I do the cleaning. So we have my billionaire category because quite frankly, I would love nothing more than to marry a billionaire. You know what, here's the thing though, that out of all my friends, so I'm not like the only single one out of my friends, but for the ones that are like engaged or dating or married, me and then my other single friends were like, well, you know what? We still have a shot at marrying rich. We're winning in that retrospect. I could still snag a billionaire someday. So, yes, I do the cooking, yes, I do the cleaning for them. And up first, we got Mr. Alex Boko from Twisted Love. We're not surprised. This has been my favorite ice cold billionaire man for quite literally 3 years at this point. I love him on a level that is slightly unhealthy. I love this book. His business calls, I would be more than happy to, you know, make sure that I'm not disrupting those. I have nothing but amazing things to say about him. Also, I don't care when people getting like butthurt about his singing, or not like butthurt, but being like, ew, cringe. That's cute, okay? He went out of his comfort zone for her. I like that. And also when she was like, I want this $40,000 painting, and he was like, oh, I thought that was expensive. That's so hot, okay? And next up, let's keep it rolling with Christian Harper, Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. I have 3 Anna Huang men in this category. What can I say? She writes amazing billionaires, okay? Fight me for it. This is my guide, so I'm including them. And Christian Harper, the scene that cemented him forever in my head as a top tier book boyfriend was when he is not even really interrogating, but invites this sleazy man over from a gala that touched Stella's ass without her permission, and he asks him, which hand did you touch my girlfriend with? And when he finally relents, he stabs that man through that hand. And then he's like, oh shit, I better run because I got Taco Tuesday night with Stella and she likes the salsa from this one store that closes across the city in like 20 minutes. So I gotta go because I gotta go meet up with my girlfriend for Taco Tuesday after owning the man that disrespected her. Sir, I don't care. You can do no wrong to me. I will cook and clean, whatever. Next up, we have a man who I would not be able to match the intellectual wit of, but I love him nonetheless. That is Richard Connor Cobalt from Kiss the Sky by Krista and Becca Ritchie. He is, in fact, my favorite man that at least I've read so far from Krista and Becca Ritchie. I love him on a way that, once again, is borderline unhealthy. Him and Rose truly are two equally matched people, which honestly I feel like they both need to kind of belong in here, because honestly I would do the cooking and the cleaning for both of them, okay, quite frankly. The way that this man, because like Rose is kind of like black cat energy, and the way that like whenever someone tries to like look sideways at her, he knows that she can hold her own, but he's like, you're not going to talk about her that way, not in like a threatening way of being like, I'm going to stab your hand, but more just like, you really think you're going to try that in front of me? You're going to try to pull that disrespect in front of me? Think again. I love him. Next up, we got Henry Wolf from the Wolf Hotel series by K.A. Tucker. There are so many moments I can think about with this man that I absolutely love. Once again, I have no interest in living in Alaska. Well, they don't live there, actually, because then they end up going back to New York City, right? I don't care. I would go to Alaska for him, quite frankly, and that's a state that I don't really have much interest in, because I just don't, like I said, I don't really do nature. I respect it, I just don't really want to be a part of it, and I would do anything for him. And last but not least, we got my last Ana Huang man, which is Kai from King of Pride, which is the second book in the Kings of Sin series. Once again, I don't know what it is about him. I think it's because it's the quiet one. I love the quiet ones that are not so quiet. His little nook hideaway that he has at the Valhalla Club, and he reads in his glass. He's just, I have no words. Him buying Isabella a typewriter, he's just so sweet. He's so sweet, but he also like has that edge. Oh, yeah, that's it. These billionaires, I love them all. Okay, now this next category is, quite frankly, the most unhinged one, I shall say. Honestly, I'm not going to do a lot of explaining with them, okay? They don't really need much explanation, but it is A Night with Him Could Cure My Mental Illness, okay? Listen, I'm allowed to make dark jokes about it, okay? Dark humor is funny to me, and if I want to say that a singular night with these men could cure me of everything, so be it, okay? First up, we got Lucas and Manson from The Losers Duet. I mean, I love all four of the guys, but Lucas and Manson in particular, okay? I will hear no arguments. They are the best duo out of that whole squad. Next up, we have Dominic from Shattered Obsession by Tina Spencer. If you've been around recently, you know how obsessed I've been with this book. The flashbacks of this man at that party, I think that says all that needs to be said about why he is in this category here. Next up, we have Emmerich from Dark Notes by Pam Godwin. An OG, a true OG of mine. I love him so much, my favorite Pam Godwin man. And once again, I will not be exaggerating. And also, I would love to just sit there and let him play me piano to sleep, okay? Love that. Next up, we have Cal from Untethered, or Untether by Elodie Hart. So normally I don't love the kind of like funny golden retriever-ish type vibe that he is, but if you know The Masked Knight at Alchemy, and not, once again, I don't need to explain that. Next up, we have another Ana Huang man, Josh Chen. I will never understand the Josh Chen slander. I love him. He is my Twisted Hate is my favorite Ana Huang book of all time. He is not my favorite Ana Huang man. That still goes to Christian or Alex and bounces back and forth day by day. I love Josh, and he belongs on this list, okay? He does. And last but not least, we have Azriel from A Court of Thorns and Roses series. Have we gotten his book yet? No, but you just know. You just know, okay? Next up, we got Mob Wife Aesthetic here, okay? So I got my 6 favorite Mafia men. Could I be in the Mafia? Absolutely not, okay? I love to know the tea. I love to know the gossip, but I would not want to have the deadly secrets hanging over my head that I would have to, okay? I could not carry those burdens, but for these men, I would try. And first up, we have Mr. Luca Vitiello, my first ever Mafia man that I ever read. He's known as being like the throat crusher, and I don't think I need to say anything more. I love him. Next up then we have his unhinged brother, Mateo, from Bound by Hatred. You're gonna notice the theme here, okay? What can I say? Cora Riley's Mafia books are my favorite Mafia books of all time. We've already established this time and time again over here. So yeah, I love his brother, Mateo, just as much because he's the unhinged version. If Luca is like cold and kind of like stoic in moments, Mateo is the fiery like counterpart of that, and I love him. I loved his unhingedness, and yeah, he's got to go on here. Then we got another one. We got Mr. Remo Falcone. We got even crazier than Mateo. Everything, also like him cage fighting too. Everything about Mateo, I love, okay? I absolutely love him. I truly will go so as far as to say is I don't think Cora Riley will ever write a hero like Remo ever again, or one that I would love more than Remo ever again, okay? I would love to live in the little Falcone mansion out in Las Vegas for him. Next up, we have my most recent obsession, Jeremy Volkov. Listen, and I think I'm gonna love his dad too. I already love his dad, and I haven't even read his dad's books yet. Jeremy, this is my favorite book I've read so far this year. This is my favorite book boyfriend that I found this year. Quite frankly, I don't have a singular complaint about this man, okay? I honestly don't even know what else to say, because at this point it's just gonna get rambly, and also I will be talking about him more in depth in the Legacy of Gods deep dive video. But the Russian roulette scene changed something in my brain chemistry, okay? It changed something inside of my soul, okay? We have Nero from Savage Lover by Sophie Lark. Listen, I know that this book as a whole leans more into the street racing, kind of like heist vibes. It's not as much like classic Mafia, or maybe as Mafia as some of the other ones, but Nero is still a part of the Mafia, so he is still getting lumped in here, and oh my gosh, I love him. And I had to include the man cover of this one because this guy is just hot. And also in the illustrations I found recently when I was flipping through these books, like, he is just the leather jacket, the cars, the hair, the attitude, everything about him I absolutely love. And yeah, he of course had to be on here. And last but not least, okay, I don't know why these are kind of out of order, but we have Nino from Twisted Emotions by Cora Riley. So we have then Remo's like colder, more stoic brother, but again, a psychopath, but not in the way that like Killian is a psychopath. You know, I feel like they're like two different levels of psychos, where like Nino, not that he has more of a soul, I'd say he's more controlled in his like maybe it's just because he's older. I don't know. I still like it though. I like his vibes. And the wedding night when he finds out about what Kiera went through, and he's immediately like, period, I'm off to go find this. And when him and Remo carry out their revenge, sir, hats off to you. Okay, we're down to our final two categories. We are at Wag Status. And actually I was very surprised at how little I had for the Wag Status category, because I read so many like hockey romances, but I truly just wanted to pick like the tops of my tops of my sports romances. Like, I didn't want to just pick people because I felt like I didn't have enough for a category, so we just have 4, but then you know that I love each and every one of these ones so much. Garrett Graham from The Deal. Are we surprised? Once again, an OG of mine from back in the day. Garrett is just like a walking, talking green flag in my opinion. I love him so much. He's such a sweetheart. I love everything that he does for Hannah. He's also so hot playing hockey. I love his banter. I love everything about this man. But you know what I love even more is his best friend, John Logan from The Mistake. This man is my favorite of Elle Kennedy's. This book is my favorite of Elle Kennedy's. I love The Mistake so much, and I love John Logan. I honestly, and here's the thing, I can't even pinpoint what I love about him so much. There's just always been something about him that I have loved since the first time that I've read this book. I've reread it like 3 times, and I love it each and every time that I read it. Also, I think I just love when a man is like vulnerable, and then when he has that moment with Grace's dad, like, oh, I really love him. Also, once again, hot hockey player, say less. Then we got August West from Longshot, another oldie but a goodie. Okay, this man, forever, I've always stood by that, like, if there was an August West in real life, perfect. Love him. Okay, the things that this man does, just the way that he is there for Iris, first of all, through everything that happens, is just insane. He's such an amazing guy, but also he's so hot. And a basketball player too, so that means he's tall, because I love a tall man. Listen, I love August so much. He's, again, just like a green flag, a total green flag. And last but not least, we have Ryan Shea from The Right Move by Liz Tom Ford. Once again, I think everyone will kind of agree that has read this book, just a quintessential book boyfriend. It's in the small things. Love is in the small things, and that's what I love, especially with like Legacy of Gods that I'm going to talk about, that I love the small moments and the small things that people do for other people or the people that they love. And Ryan Shea is full of little things that he does for Indy to show her that he loves her and that he cares about her and that he's listening to her, most importantly. Once again, just a green flag. Quite frankly, again, if there was a Ryan Shea in real life, oh, honestly, good thing he doesn't exist, because I'd never be able to snag him and then I'd just be pissed. And we are at my honorable mentions categories. So these include 4 men that didn't really fit into any of the above categories, but I have to include them. And first up, I already mentioned him. We got James Calloway from Always Been You by QB Tyler, my original favorite QB man. Listen, I don't really, again, know what it is about him. And I think it's just like James and Gabrielle and this whole book as a whole that I just love, but especially in the expanded books that originally started as a novella, and then seeing him in the expanded version, just how he was there for Gabrielle, and especially like when she went looking for answers about like her past and her birth family, and then like once she found those answers, and just how he was there for her. Oh, he's such a sweetheart, and he's also so hot. So like, yeah, what can I say at this point? Then we have Ronan from Vicious Prince by Rena Kent. He is my favorite Royal Elites man, a favorite Rena Kent man, and once again, one that it's like, I love a character who, like, as a side character in the other books, he's seen as very, like, goofy, the comedic relief, the one that everyone kind of likes in the group, you know, the more likable one, especially when a lot of them are, like, psychos and mean. He's just always seen as being the likable one and the one that's always cracking a joke, having fun. And then when you get to his book and then you see what he's, like, stewing with on the inside, oh my god, there is something that will always get me about the character that is supposed to be, like, comedic relief, but actually has some of the like darkest things that they're like hiding inside of them. Oh, I love it so much, and I love Ronan. So honorable mention. Is it cheating? I don't care. James Walker from Take You Down by me. Okay, listen, when Walker first like popped into my head, just like not only physically is he like, I love him, but just everything about his personality, I just truly, once again, he would be a guy in real life that I would like, could only be so lucky to even just like know as a friend. I don't know, I just think he's like the most genuine guy, and I think it's the way that he loves Scar and like protects her and is just there for her and truly like loves her unconditionally. And I think more so too, he's like back up in my head a lot more because, you know, I think I've said that their story is not done. And I really love him. I love the depth of care that he has for the people. Like, he is the definition of like a ride or die. If you are one of his people, there's nothing that he wouldn't do for you. And I love him. And then also, again, I'm kind of cheating too, but I have Hayden Coleman from Take My Hand, also by me. Okay, granted, I am not going to always include every single man that I write, because listen, I don't have Nikolai or Reed on here. I don't have Caleb on here. I am selective. Listen, I love all of my men, but I will say I don't think it'll matter how many books I write down the road. I think Walker and Hayden are always going to have the softest spot for me. I love Hayden as well. Again, he kind of like, he's not necessarily brooding, but he's he struggles a lot. Again, it's like the ones, I guess if I were to put him in any category, he'd probably go on the sad little tortured boy one, because once again, he's just trying to move on from his past, but he like can't, but he wants to, and then he like recognizes some of that in Carter and just the way that he wants to be there for her. And also, listen, again, A Night with Him too would cure me of everything. I love him. I love the two of them, and I will never like pick favorites, but if I were to pick favorites out of the like 5 men that, at least right now, that, well, Caleb hasn't been like introduced into the world, but he's close, but like the 5 men that I kind of have like out there right now in my sphere of writing, these 2 are always going to be just like a little more special to me. So anyways, that is my guide. Those are all of my book boyfriends. Okay, obviously the list is always going to be changing. There are more that I love as well, but these are just like the top of the top that I had to include and that fit into the fun little categories. That is it for today's video. Next week, I think I'm already to chat, chill, and get ready with me time and TBR time, and then wrap up the following week, and then I don't really know what I have going from there. Like I said, I am heavy into starting line edits right now, and I have a really tight turnaround to turn them back around. So honestly, maybe next week you might only get one video. I will see what I can do. If I can get 2 up, I'd love to get 2 up for you guys. So just stick with me now that I'm kind of back in that like mode. But anyways, let me know your favorite book boyfriends. That's it for today's video, and I will see you when I see ya.